They represented the distance 300 that our friends ran from the right direction. To the right direction of the starting point as a positive number. Also, they represented the distance 500 that our friends ran from the left direction of the starting point as a negative 500. From the number line here, we can see that positive 300, which is located on the right side of the number line, is greater than negative 500, which is located at the left side of the number line. Or maybe as simple as it is, because 300 is a positive number while 500 is a negative number. So the 300 is bigger. Does this mean that the winner is the one who ran 300 meters because 300 is greater than negative 500? Or it's not? This is what we are going to learn in Lesson 6, titled Comparing Absolute Value. And it's the last lesson on Unit 2 and in Concept 3. In this lesson, we will get to know who won the previous race, as we will learn how to compare absolute values using symbols and interpret the use of absolute value through real-world situations involving money and temperature. So, in Axis, you have two numbers. One of them is positive and the other one is negative. So, when we compare them, the positive number, which is 2/3, will be the greatest, right? So if we put them here, 2/3 and negative 5/6, you will see that 2/3 is greater, right? Because it's on the right of the number line. This means that, as we said, that 2/3 is greater than negative 5/6. Now, think about comparing the absolute value of these rational numbers. Do you think the comparison will be the same or different? To answer this question, you need to get the absolute value for these numbers. In the previous lesson, we learned about the absolute value and that it's the distance between 0 and any number. So, the absolute value of 2/3 is 2/3. And the absolute value of negative 5/6 is exactly 5/6. When we compare the two numbers, the denominator must be equal, right? So, this means we can get an equivalent fraction for 2/3, right? With the denominator 6, we can put it, right? So, we can multiply this by 2, here it will be 6, and multiply this by exactly 2 equals 4. So, it will be 4/6. And I have this 5/6 as it. So, when we compare between 5/6 and 4/6, so which one will be bigger? Exactly, 5/6 will be bigger than 5/6. So the outcome of the comparison between absolute values is the opposite of the result of the comparison when we were comparing the numbers. This will help us decide who will win the race. But let's ask ourselves an important question as well. In order to determine who ran a greater distance, will we compare the absolute value? Let's see here. or we will compare the numbers. Great job. Some students says that because it's a distance, we must compare the absolute values. So, the absolute value of negative 500 is greater than the absolute value of 300, right? Thus, the one who won the running competition is the one who actually ran 500 meters. It's bigger than this one, right? So, even if he was on the left of the starting point, let's build on the comparison between absolute value in part A. In part A of Build and Connect, in A, he's telling you here absolute value of -4 and absolute value of -3. So, as we are comparing between the absolute values, the numbers should be exactly positive, right? Positive 4 and the absolute value of -3, it will be exactly positive 3. So, which one here is bigger? Exactly, sure, the absolute value of -4. In B, we are asked to compare between -7 and 9/10 and -8 and 2/10. So, as the absolute value of the number -8 and 2/10 will be positive, so it will be positive 8 and 2/10, which will be exactly which one is the greater? Exactly 8 and 2/10. Now, I'll give you time to use the sign greater than, smaller than, or equal to compare the rest of the numbers in this activity. I'll show you the answers when we get back. I'm sure that you answered correctly, but let's check your answers from the page shown here. Let's see together. So here, see which one is bigger? Exactly, the absolute value of -1 and 4/10, right? Why? Exactly, because absolute value of -1 and 4/10 is 1 and 4/10, right? Good job. Here, which one is bigger? They are equal. Why? So this is improper fraction. So I need to let this also exactly improper fraction. So how do we do this in improper fraction? Exactly write the denominator as it. Multiply this. 6 times 5 is 30 exactly. And then plus 5 equals 35. And the absolute of -35 over 6, exactly 35 over 6, which is equal. So let's jump to question E. So I have here absolute value 9, 3 over 5, and -9, 3 over 4. So of course, the absolute value of 9, 3 over 4, it will be 9, 3 over 4, and this will be 9, 3 over 5. So which one is bigger? 9, 3 over 4. Okay, so let's move to question F. Absolute value of -2 and 71/100 and 2 and 7/10. So the absolute value of -2 and 71/100, it will be exactly 2 and 71/100, which is bigger than 2 and 7/10.
تقدر تتابع كل دروسك على تطبيق مدرستنا بلس. مدرستنا، المستقبل يبدأ الآن.